Well, they say fashion reflects the time, but when time stands still for some of us, what exactly is it reflecting?
It would seem that as Meghan and Harry step into their new life as so-called commoners, the royal family's loss is Hollywood's gain.
This wasn't just a rejection. This was a fashion house drawing a line in the sand that would echo through every luxury brand in Paris. What happened behind those closed doors at Dior headquarters didn't just end one woman's dreams of couture legitimacy. It triggered a domino effect that would quietly shut her out of an entire industry. And the evidence? It's more calculated than anyone imagined. When ambition meets iron gates. Picture this: Avenue Montaigne, Paris. The heart of luxury fashion. A place where invitations are worth more than money, where access is currency, and where the wrong move can end careers. This particular morning was supposed to be business as usual. Private fittings for verified ambassadors, tight security, zero public attention. Then a black SUV arrived at 9:42 a.m. According to multiple witnesses who were there that day, what unfolded next wasn't just awkward, it was a masterclass in what happens when aspiration crashes into exclusivity. The woman who stepped out was dressed entirely in archived Dior pieces, none from current collections. Bold? Certainly. Strategic? Absolutely. Authorized? Not even close. Staff members immediately noticed something off. Her name wasn't on any list. No appointment in the system. No confirmation emails. Nothing. Yet her team insisted with the kind of confidence that suggested this was planned, expected, already arranged with creative direction. Except Dior's creative team had arranged absolutely nothing. But here's where it gets interesting. One senior staffer later described the moment her name appeared at reception as confusion turning to controlled panic. This wasn't a scheduling mix-up. This was a woman showing up to a party she was never invited to, insisting she belonged there. Security protocols kicked in immediately. She was escorted, politely, professionally, to a holding area. And this is where eyewitness accounts start painting a very different picture from the poised public image we're used to seeing. Growing visibly frustrated, she reportedly snapped at staff, "You must not recognize me. I'm close with your people." Inside the building, executives were frantically verifying. Emails were pulled, schedules triple-checked, the head of PR was contacted. And that's when the internal communication went out, the one that multiple sources have since confirmed. Urgent. Markle in lobby claiming fittings appointment. Verify authorization immediately. PR confirms she was not invited. Within 15 minutes, Dior's head of communications arrived in person. What happened next would seal her fate with not just Dior, but with luxury fashion worldwide.
More than 7 decades, the House of Dior has been synonymous with luxury, elegance, and opulence.
The conversation was direct. No private fitting existed. All ambassador sessions were strictly by invitation. The brand's position was firm but professional. Her reaction? Sources in the room describe it as stunning. Arms crossed, glaring, she allegedly delivered a line that would later be repeated in fashion circles across Paris. "After everything I've done for your image, you're really going to shut the door on me?" But what Dior knew, and what she clearly didn't, was that they'd been keeping records. What emerged in the weeks following this incident wasn't just embarrassing, it was a documented pattern. French media outlets obtained correspondence showing a campaign that had been building for over a year. Multiple outreach attempts since early spring, each one pitching what was described as an elegant global collaboration redefining modern royalty through couture. Dior never responded, not once. But the messages kept coming. 6 follow-ups from her personal assistant, each more insistent, each escalating in tone. One email in particular made executives wince. A reference positioning her in the same lineage as Princess Diana's elegance.
Throughout her life in the limelight, Princess Diana Spencer was consistently photographed. Princess Diana Spencer broke the rules from the beginning, and we love her all the more for it.
That comparison became the breaking point. One insider was blunt about it. The brand wanted distance from royal narratives, not another publicity storm. So when she appeared unannounced at headquarters months later, this wasn't arrogance. It was desperation with a camera crew. Yes, a camera crew. 2 assistants, 1 stylist, and a photographer ready to document what she believed would be her triumphant fitting. One guard even recalled her saying, "We'll just take a few shots inside. Dior knows I'm coming." Except Dior absolutely did not know. Word spread through the building like wildfire. Designers texted colleagues, assistants whispered in corners. "She's here again," became the message passed through floors of the building, the word "again" doing heavy lifting. And then the hammer fell. Dior's response was swift and surgical. Access revoked across all divisions. Contacts flagged in internal systems. And in her digital file, one word added in red: blocked. But buried in their archives was something more revealing. A complete digital trail of proposals, photo pitches, and partnership requests her team had submitted over months. And one message in particular would later leak to the press. An email allegedly written by her personally, titled, "A Proposal for Dior's New Era." The message began diplomatically enough, but midway through shifted into something that set off alarms. "The world sees me as the embodiment of reinvention." Dior could represent that journey, a woman who went from Hollywood to royalty and then to independence.
Before she lit up the tabloids as Prince Harry's girlfriend, Meghan Markle was turning heads as an actress and model.
No one carries legacy and rebellion in one frame the way I do. Fashion insiders who reviewed it were blunt. This wasn't about the brand. This was about her. The email continued with a full campaign concept, the modern monarch, featuring her in classic Dior silhouettes, reimagined for the global era. She even suggested shooting at Château de Fontainebleau, noting the location would parallel my own evolution. When Dior didn't respond, 3 more follow-ups arrived. The final one, labeled "Urgent Decision Pending," included a list of deliverables and a thinly veiled threat. A competing luxury house had already expressed interest. That was the final straw. As one senior PR source put it, she tried playing Dior against Chanel. Both sides knew exactly what she was doing. You can't strong-arm haute couture. That's not how Paris works. Within 24 hours of her rejection, something strange started happening across social media. High-profile fashion influencers, seemingly unconnected, began posting eerily similar praise. No one wears Dior like Meghan Markle. Timeless grace with a modern twist. All tagged with Dior Paris, Dior elegance, Dior style. It looked organic, random fans celebrating her fashion sense. But inside Dior headquarters, alarms were ringing again. Their PR team immediately recognized what was happening: brand hijacking. Someone was attempting to create the appearance of a collaboration that didn't exist. Dior's legal team traced the posts. Many originated from influencer accounts managed by agencies with documented ties to her PR network. An internal memo, later leaked, read, "Evidence suggests deliberate coordination to misrepresent brand affiliation. Immediate distancing recommended." The next morning, Dior took an almost unprecedented step. They issued an off-record statement to European fashion editors. Dior has no current or planned collaborations with the Duchess of Sussex. That statement, meant to kill rumors, instead confirmed something had happened. And journalists wanted to know what. But she wasn't backing down. The counter-move. When narrative control backfires. From her Montecito home, sources say she was furious. She felt betrayed.
After stepping down as senior members of the royal family in early 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex eventually settled in Montecito, a quiet community in Santa Barbara.
Not by Dior's rejection, but by their refusal to play along with the narrative she was constructing. That afternoon, she posted a carefully curated photo. A close-up in an older Dior coat, captioned, "Timeless designs tell stories. Some just never go out of style." The post went viral, millions of likes. Mission accomplished, right? Wrong. Because hidden in the comments section, the real battle was beginning. Fashion insiders, former Dior interns, anonymous PR representatives all started dropping receipts, emails, meeting notes, photos from past events, and what they revealed was explosive. Dior wasn't the first rejection. She'd been quietly turned away by 2 other luxury houses before this. And that's when the entire industry started talking. Leaked memos obtained by Grazia France revealed something shocking. Both Chanel and Givenchy had previously declined partnership proposals, citing concerns over controversial public positioning and potential reputational volatility. One fashion executive didn't mince words. She didn't understand that in Paris, mystique is currency. She wanted control, exposure, and credit. Those 3 things destroy luxury faster than scandal. Her pitches repeatedly used phrases like global relatability, authentic reinvention, the power of modern royalty. To American audiences, that might sound empowering. To European fashion houses, it read as self-promotion masquerading as aristocratic grace. And then, Dior made an unprecedented move. They blacklisted her across multiple divisions. No samples, no invitations, no collaborations, no access to couture fittings without prior written authorization from senior leadership. The move was drastic, deliberate, and it sent a message. One Dior PR executive, speaking anonymously, explained, "When she showed up uninvited, it wasn't just disruptive, it was seen as disrespectful. Dior is built on tradition, control, discretion. She represented the opposite of everything we stand for. And then the dominoes really started falling." The ripple effect, when one rejection becomes industry-wide. By the end of that week, something unprecedented was happening. Other major fashion houses were quietly adding similar internal notes to their client registries. One stylist leaked a photo of a shared database used across multiple brands. Next to her name, a simple note: "Do not engage. PR liability." In Montecito, panic set in. A crisis meeting was called with her new image strategist, a former Netflix executive, who allegedly delivered a brutal truth: "You've become too famous to be fashionable." That line landed hard. And that's when, according to former assistants, a decision was made. If the established fashion world wouldn't let her in, she'd build her own. An ethical luxury label to rival the very brands that rejected her. But Dior wasn't done yet. Dior quietly struck a devastating final move. They froze all pending trademark inquiries tied to her name in the European Union. The reason? A confidential filing alleged she had attempted to register a Dior-adjacent slogan for her new brand, without permission. When that detail leaked, this went from fashion faux pas to full-blown legal warfare. The official filing, uncovered by Le Journal du Luxe, stated her proposed trademark could cause confusion with established luxury heritage identifiers and misrepresent affiliation. It didn't name her directly. It didn't have to. Industry insiders knew exactly who they meant. For the first time, a top-tier fashion house had effectively branded her as a legal risk. Within days, luxury forums exploded with insider gossip. One anonymous Parisian buyer posted, "Dior's legal move isn't about protecting a word. It's about drawing a line. They're telling every brand, she's not one of us." That quiet blackballing had immediate consequences. Invitations stopped. PR lists were scrubbed. Even stylists in New York began declining projects associated with her. One fashion editor captured it perfectly. It wasn't a memo. It was a whisper. "Don't attach your label to hers, and that's more powerful than any official ban." But the biggest revelation was still to come. 2 weeks after Dior's filing, a confidential memo from LVMH, Dior's parent company, was leaked to a French business journal. It summarized recent incidents of brand misrepresentation by public figures. At the very top, next to codename Client M, Meghan Markle. The memo cited unsolicited brand association attempts, unauthorized photography within secured spaces, and most explosively, efforts to influence influencer content to simulate partnership status. In plain English, Dior was accusing her of orchestrating the fake collaboration buzz herself. Fashion insiders immediately connected this to those suspicious Instagram posts from weeks earlier. A PR manager in Milan told Vanity Fair Italia, "Dior doesn't leak without intent." This was a warning shot to every brand, every PR firm, every stylist in the industry. The fallout spread instantly. Louis Vuitton, Fendi, Givenchy all quietly updated their internal blacklists. Her name was now cross-referenced under restricted affiliations across LVMH's entire portfolio, but the most damning evidence came from inside her own team. The inside betrayal, when your own strategy leaks. According to sources formerly on her communications team, one of her own digital strategists had tipped off a Paris journalist about the Dior visit, hoping to spin it into a redemption story about exclusion and elitism. The plan was apparently straightforward. She shows up to Dior. She gets turned away. The story leaks to sympathetic press. Headlines read, "Meghan Markle snubbed by elitist fashion house." Public sympathy follows. She positions herself as an outsider challenging an exclusionary industry. When the plan backfired spectacularly, that strategist was fired, and mysteriously, deleted emails began resurfacing. They revealed a detailed pitch document titled "Reclaiming Paris," outlining how she could appear uninvited at a fashion house, then frame the inevitable reaction as evidence of systemic exclusion in luxury fashion. This wasn't a publicity stunt gone wrong. This was a calculated campaign with documented strategy. The problem? It fundamentally misread both the fashion industry and public sentiment. One furious former Dior executive told Le Monde, "She thought she could weaponize rejection, turn it into victimhood, and make us look elitist." She drastically underestimated how ruthless this industry can be when it feels manipulated. Because luxury brands have been dealing with gatecrashers, social climbers, and publicity seekers for decades, they've seen every tactic, and they have zero tolerance for manipulation. The moment they sense someone is trying to use controversy to force their way in, they shut it down completely. By the end of that week, her social channels went dark. No statements, no clarifications, just eerie silence from Montecito. But Paris kept talking. Because Dior had one final revelation that would prove this entire situation was premeditated from the start. The security footage told the real story. A security contractor who worked that day came forward with a claim that changed the entire narrative. She hadn't come alone. She'd brought a camera crew. 3 individuals arrived with her that morning. 1 stylist, 1 assistant, and a man carrying a shoulder-mounted camera registered under a lifestyle documentary permit, issued for a completely different location. A public Paris hotel, not a private couture atelier. They claimed it was just behind-the-scenes footage of her trip, the guard told Le Figaro. But the way the cameraman positioned himself, the angles, the framing, it looked staged, rehearsed, professional. And that detail changes everything. Because if you're genuinely showing up to a pre-arranged fitting, you don't bring a camera crew. You certainly don't bring equipment registered under false permits. This wasn't someone hoping for a successful meeting. This was someone documenting a confrontation they expected to happen. Leaked CCTV footage from Dior later confirmed the details. It showed her walking through the lobby, pausing at the entryway mirror, turning toward reception as if on cue. The camera operator panned up dramatically, catching her reflection in perfect composition. Every movement seemed choreographed for maximum visual impact. When security intervened, the cameraman reportedly said, "We're cleared." She's expected. He wasn't. Neither statement was true. Within minutes, Dior's communications head descended from upper management. Witnesses described a tense exchange, not shouting, but clipped, professional, final. She refused to surrender the memory card, claiming the footage was private content. Security escorted the entire crew from the building. Recording devices were temporarily confiscated under Dior's privacy policy and returned later, but only after legal reviewed what had been captured. The footage, according to sources who saw it, showed exactly what Dior suspected: a manufactured moment designed to look spontaneous, a rejection that was anticipated rather than unexpected, and a PR strategy that depended on conflict rather than collaboration. What started as an alleged misunderstanding revealed itself as something far more calculated: a documented attempt to manufacture legitimacy in an industry built on exclusivity and earned access. Dior didn't just reject her that day. They exposed a pattern of behavior that had been building for months. The persistent emails that went unanswered, the name dropping that fell flat, the unauthorized appearances, the coordinated social media campaigns, the trademark attempts, and finally, the camera crew documenting a confrontation that was planned from the start. And in doing so, they sent a message that echoed through every luxury house in Paris, Milan, London, and beyond. Some doors don't open with ambition alone. They don't open with celebrity status. They don't open with publicity stunts or manufactured controversy. They open with respect for tradition, understanding of protocol, and genuine alignment with brand values. Everything she didn't demonstrate. The question now isn't whether she can recover her fashion credibility. At this point, with LVMH, Kering, and independent houses all quietly circulating her name on restriction lists, that ship has sailed. The real question is what this reveals about the collision between modern celebrity culture and old-world luxury. One values exposure, the other discretion. One demands immediate access, the other requires patient relationship building. One sees controversy as currency, the other treats it as contamination. Meghan Markle tried to force her way into a world that doesn't respond to force, and Dior, with surgical precision, showed her, and everyone watching, exactly what happens when you misunderstand the rules of a game that's been played the same way for over a century. The doors didn't just close, they locked. And in luxury fashion, there are no spare keys.